an Esan man becoming the governor in 2024 might not really be dependent on we the Benin people. I will give you my reason. It will be dependent on that guy called Oshiomhole.
Thanks for clicking on this channel. Please subscribe to AFO's blog history and click on the notification button so that whenever we upload a new video you will be notified. Edo 2024, Oshiomhole will determine the next governor of Edo State, not Governor Obaseki, says Izoduwa. According to Izoduwa, for an Esan man to become the governor of Edo State come 2024 will be depending on Oshiomhole, not Obaseki, because Obaseki will not get the support of the Benins due to his antecedent, in relation to his conflict with Oba Palace over Benin Artefacts. He said the conflict between Esan and Benin should be allowed to blow up. He talks about the trending video concerning the relationship between Edo and Japan as a result of the similarity in words and names. He came up with ideological coincidence which can lead to similarity in words and names. In conclusion, Edo and Japan don't have any relationship, he said. Izoduwa also talks about the community crisis as it affects the development of Benin Kingdom, especially violence over land ownership. That most of the youth leaders in these communities are constituting a nuisance in their communities. They are so useless that they have nothing to contribute to the development of their communities. Please sit down and watch as Mr. Izoduwa analyzes this variety of issues.
Good evening to all of you. We want to talk about today's topic. It's not just very interesting. It is something that will make us all to take what we call sober reflection. Sober reflection of ourselves as a people. I want to speak holistically on some trends of issues. But before I speak on today's topic, I would like to warm up our conversation about 10-15 minutes. Something a bit scintillating. I want to take our minds off a lot. What we want to talk about, it's at the level of the community, what people will refer to as communal level, because decisions, greatness of the kingdom is bettered from respective communities. Issues bedeviling the kingdom is also communally based. So we must not look at, we are going to look at all of these issues based on my past experiences in the past few months. But before then, after my last broadcast on Benin or Edo Esan agenda, I received multiple calls from friends and associates and brothers, and we spoke at length, and some said they were not happy that I had to say what I had to say, and I thanked them for, even if they were not happy, to call me to ask me what could have happened. I'm not a guy who hides under ethnic supremacy. I'm not a guy who hides, who believes. There's even on our GBD platform today, a video was posted on our platform that the Japanese people originated from Edo and all of that, and I kindly, my own opinion, I said, oh, a lot of our people have been trying to draw me into that conversation. And I told them categorically that from experience, the word originates is a very heavy word. If any tribe would say that the Benin people originated from them, it is expected that the Benin people should pick offense. It should also be expected that if Benin now also say another country, far Asia, also now originate from there, that naturally they will pick. But that was the one who was not angry for them, that the word originates should be sparingly used in historical discussion. The reason is because there are always what we call historical biases. Nobody, no author has ever written history purely on the concept of neutrality. That if I want to write a book now concerning Benin history and its relationship to other ethnic groups or other neighboring ethnic groups, there tends to be biases in favor of Benin and against other tribes. It is the imperfection of human nature that cannot be discredited. But in order for you to show some of these biases, you must, there are some statements or words that must be sparingly used. Words like originate. Originate is a very tough word to use. So let's understand some of these principles. There are similarities of words. At one time, Tokyo was called Edo, blah, blah, blah. It does not portend. I've always said that there are words that world historians usually use. We call it ideological coincidence. Ideological coincidence means that people use words at different times or at the same time at different places all over the world. It shows the existence of a supreme being. So if the thought I am currently having now, someone else is also having almost exact thought. Somewhere in far Mexico, or somewhere in far Japan, or somewhere in far Canada. Some person is looking towards that direction, and words are recurring. I made a very good example. My current estate is A, and I Google searched that word A, and I discovered that the word A, it's also found as an English old word. So I was not asking, would I not say because there is a word called A in Old English? So the Ogiso A was a migrant from England, or the Benin people at one point in history during the Ogiso era conquered England. So, but what people should use, like Cassie has said, is relationship. That's a better word to use, not originate. Those words are at best very annoying. At this point in time, there are some words that we should not be seen using like words like originate. It could be relationship between the Benins and Ishekiri, relationships between Benins and inquiries and all of that. So words like these should be sparingly used, while words like relationship should be encouraged to be used. Having said that, I had this conversation with quite of my Esan friends or alias brothers. One of them has been my ardent follower for years. We've never spoken, but we spoke. Can't really remember. It has those thick Esan names. But anyway, we spoke, and the kind of a conversation I had with him was that he asked me, what do you think should be the solution to this problem? Me, I'm a good thinker. People do not always. I have looked at it from all angles. People will not believe what I'm going to say now. People is not going to believe that Izoduwa is going to say what he wants to say, but it's the only solution. See, in life, there is a common saying: if there is no war, there will not be any peace. If there are rivalries or striveries or whatever, everybody should allow the whole issue to blow up. Yes. They should allow the whole issue to blow up. Now, if you put palm wine, a fresh palm wine, if you put it inside a container and you seal it, after some time, if it's under a very hot weather, it starts swelling. While here temporarily, some of the gas escapes, close it again. After some time, it starts swelling until eventually the thing bursts. Now, if we continue to sweet talk, romance, all of this impending conversation that are not even inimical to the foundational issues that I talked about, it will continue to swell until eventually it will burst. The bursting point is the salvational point. Is there any word called salvational? The bursting point is the salvational point. Let it explode. When it explodes, everybody comes to the round table, and thereby a mutual understanding is reached, and terms and conditions are given. That is how you get a lasting peace. When you try to address issues on a very superficial level, you don't get results. It's either you go deep or you allow it to explode. Either way, that is how you get results. Sometimes some people might look at it Izoduwa and all of that, but to me, I just thought about it and I felt that is the only way. So people should not it will no longer work. The thing has nothing to do with 2024 election. Whether after 2024 it still will be there. People should understand that it has nothing to do with 2024 election. After 2024 election, even if you give an Esan man to be governor in the next 20 years, it still will not stop some Esan people to cast aspersion to the Benin people. It will not stop. It will never stop. But what will stop it is what I have just said. So, I'm the guy who thinks out of the box. I think for me that's the only way. Now again, I told him that Esan becoming governor in 2024 is not dependent on even the Benin people. Because I might not be a politician, but at least I have common sense. Let's look at this. I'm going to be very brief with this, but I want us to listen so that an Esan man becoming the governor in 2024 might not really be dependent on we the Benin people. I will give you my reason. It will be dependent on that guy called Oshiomhole. It will be dependent on him. I'm not a fan of any politician. People should not get my words politically. It will be dependent on him. The reason is very simple. It is only when APC produces an Esan that they have a likely chance of winning statistically. If PDP produces Esan, and don't forget the PDP that is producing Esan is Obaseki, who is Edo. Understand my analysis, my analytical perception, my statistics. If Obaseki produces an Esan man, okay, 3 senatorial districts, Oshiomhole is going to bring an Esan command. Factual. He's going to bring an Esan command. So that Esan command is going to get the entire do not vote, if not the entire, but over 90%. Beautiful. Then Obaseki, when he brings an Esan man is going to get almost 100% or 90% from Edo Central. Don't forget, statistically, Edo North has more votes than Edo Central. So, the determining factor, alright, will now fall back to Edo South. This is where it's very beautiful. Obaseki will not get 30% of the population of the Benin people to vote for him because of his antecedents over the years. As a matter of fact, so he is not going to get 30%. See, outside Benin, Esan, recent fighting, which is also going to be against them, but it is the it is not as big as a factor as Obaseki, which the Benin people detest. And also forget, they were all hailing him when he was fighting us and fighting the royal institution. They were all hailing him. So, but this is not the ripple effect that anything that has to do with him, a lot of us, I'm not saying all of us, but I can guarantee that 70% of us, anything we can get any, so you see why I said, and it is most likely that it's PDP that will bring an Esan candidate. The Oshiomhole that most people know might not consider that. You see where that is the problem. If I'm them, they should go and rally amongst themselves, their leaders, to go and meet Oshiomhole to produce an Esan candidate. It will be a lot easier. Because if Oshiomhole if APC produces an Esan candidate, he most likely will win. The reason is very simple. Oshiomhole is going to deliver Edo North for him. Being that he's from Edo Central, he's going to clear Edo Central. Oshiomhole is not enemy of the Benin people. The only enemy that Oshiomhole is to is few guys, which they are not minorities, that are surrounding Obaseki. So, if he produces, he most likely will get 70% of the entire vote in the state, or 80%. It is just fact. So Izoduwa we time near do if you always say I'm governor of next year. What they should do now, Oshiomhole. It is the guy who will guarantee them whether they become a governor or not. That's my humble analysis. People don't have to agree, don't have to agree, don't have to disagree. But all right, so that Obaseki vote. It might not be because of Esan factor. It will be because of Obaseki's factor. To be very candid, me, Izoduwa, anybody that Obaseki brings, I can never vote for that person. Or home we sit down on one female. When been my egg for the past 3 years. Artifact of human and British, they don't understand the new gazetted law. I don't understand. So that's another topic for another day. You understand? So that's another topic for another day. So we met. If the polling boy are voting on this candidate, it has nothing to do with the whoever candidate that he is bringing. It has nothing to do with that at all. It has everything to do with him. So, and that's the point. So, in my query, it's even better. I learn myself near with the candidate ladian because, well, let me not preempt. Near the way I've dealt, a lot of them accuse me that I'm an APC member. But I'll give them a very good example that if you have seen me in any politician's house in the last 7 years, they by mistake, if you have seen me in the past since 2016, call me out. So, but let's leave that one. But I'm just trying to tell them so that they should forget about us and concentrate on Oshiomhole's factor. You understand? And they should concentrate on Oshiomhole's factor. He's the guy that can make them or make them, not we. You understand? Since Benins is not contesting next year, Abi, it's Edo North and Edo Central. Now, if he gives it to Edo North, this one gives it to Edo Central. It will be easier. I've said it. It will be easier. It will be easier to consider APC. Now, Obaseki. As I talk now. So, they were laughing us when I nigga na rugby. I Belgium palace. They were government now supported every single person to smite us. But they didn't know that what they are doing or what they were doing to us will come back. They didn't know that thing, which is most likely will guarantee them a ticket now. On your one, and that becomes a problem. No, assuming Edo State not come out. Let's just say Edo State is not coming out. There's Edo Central, I do not. I'm just saying that but instead of people does politics It is not done on social media. It's done by consultation, by harmonization. Area politics, social media, a spectacle man, he would not determine anything. But I haven't said that. Let's leave that aside. I said I wasn't going to talk about that. What I want to talk about today specifically is community infractions. We have to speak so much on this matter because it's very, very important. If you not hacking the money we do zero kind of what we the Benins are supposed to be seen discussing, what we Benins are supposed to rub our minds together for. When you go to each communities, you see boundary disputes. You see fighting and killing of themselves. You see where to go where was in Edo. Okay. Who I said that devil. Igbina ya igbina. Abe egili. Abe ejon. Abe eoga. All the different strata. All the different set of people. No heke. No eminau. They are not fighting because of sales of lands. These issues must be critically addressed so that we all can understand the veracity and the complexity of such very how do I say it now, of a vital aspect of our modern day lives that has crippled our mode of our growth, that has sort of impaired our growth as a people. It has actually affected us to the extent that you cannot really see development in each of these respective communities because of what is currently trading, what is currently happening, which I feel that we as a people must find appropriate solutions to. We must not look critically and say that Emie Shona Erima. I'm going to be giving series of examples to buttress some of these my points, because we can no longer fold our hands and allow communities to self-terminate themselves because of issues that was caused by selfish interest and greed. There's a community now called Obayanto 1. It's almost like a deserted community because they fought themselves, and I heard they killed 1 or 2 military officers that led to the military invading that community and killing most of the youths. Our youth are killing themselves daily. Outside cultism. You know we can't talk. Our youths are killing themselves daily. And it is a call for concern. Otherwise, we should not go and self-exterminate ourselves. We should not go and self-exterminate ourselves, except maybe we are giving birth in thousands daily. In comparison to some of these boys that are killing themselves daily. Now, check this scenario. Two communities who, like 2 years ago, I told my father, then he was still alive. I told him that my community share boundaries with about 5 other communities. I told them that the community should gather money. When they gather money, have a meeting with other communities, neighboring communities, and they should hold a meeting. Let them establish each of the community boundaries. When they establish each of the community boundaries, then they will carry bulldozer, they will carry ITV, they will carry EBS, carry NTA, and create boundary which will be covered live. When these boundaries are being created, it should be covered live. With all the elders of these communities, they have all sat down, they have agreed that this is their natural boundary with with the principles of our tradition. When all these things have been done, let them carry bulldozer, let them create, if you want to create a ditch, but let this natural boundary matter be settled. That's what I told them. Now, when peradventure, if that is not done, of all of these 5 communities, one of the community started to sell more lands, or one of the communities seems to be bigger than the rest in terms of land size and land resources. Then, 15 years after, one very useless Okayele will now be given power. He no longer has land to sell, but he has battalions of boys. They have guns. They have ammunition. They will now begin to go to neighboring communities and tell them that the boundary that was established 15 years earlier should be re-established, because that was not the actual boundary. Understand this. This is the greediness of our Benin brothers. Very greedy set of people. What the elders had established 15 years earlier. Your fathers were there, of this community, the elders of this community were there, and the elders of the other community were there. And there was a truce and there was an agreement. But because you not think that one of the community now holds more weaponry, they now begin to bully the other community. The other community, knowing fully well that this boundary have been established and rightly established, so they will now begin to fight for their survival. This becomes the genesis of an unending rivalry, an unending war. Ononaga idofian. This onona we win you. Every 5 years, they take the other community. Na rule like bandrogian that iyan do afi utogian ne. They take na ibe mi okaye le no be zitu we ho. Oni do we na de gbe we re-establish the boundary to Ikinoka, it becomes an unending rivalry. But what is the root cause of this issue? The root cause of this issue is the greed of our youth, of our so-called Egele. Some of them are not youth, some of them are supposed to be Ejon. In Benin, I know of 2 or 3 Okayele that are in their 60s. Yeah, the enemy Okayele, yeah. The man Edo State, but because of land, some youths or some elders who are ordinarily, I have seen the man is, I was told, is 67 years old. Okayele, you know, when you subvert the natural process, when you subvert the natural process, when you subvert it, they are bound to be chaos. That is what our people do not know. That is what our people do not know. When you go against the natural law of the land, they are bound to be chaos. Because we metin say egioe eme no bagwan yo ne atai ne amolog bene we because oba na fit come for a palace come the call my community Yahweh not ready hema. But when na miamia that it will cause natural chaos that will lead to the loss of lives and properties. I have never seen the amount of stupidity and greed in the mind of some of our people. You know that this thing is going to lead to chaos, but you don't care. The only thing you care about is money. But you now started to create cascades of issues upon issues upon issues, which will now go on for years. Communities no longer will develop because where there is crisis, there cannot be development. They don't fucking care. Sorry for using fucking. They don't care at all if these communities will develop or not. The only thing that they seem to care about is their own pocket. And funny enough, when you look at their cycle, none of them amounts to anything in life. When you look at them, none of them seems to amount to any good thing in life. But yet they will not create chaos that becomes unrepaired for years. At times, when I look at some of these youths take some certain decisions, I don't know. Yeah, it will not dey my mind say, "Ewa vanwiya erere iwa mwerere ni orewe iwa do mwerere we imu yuwe because ewe dwe ekiesonia do goat." You see that your elders sat down on this matter, discussed about boundary. It was agreed. Then out of greed, but the other community, out of greed, you now want to readjust the boundary. You do not have that such rights as a youth. In one of the communities that I have, one of my estates, I was telling the Okayele the other time that during the burial of my father when we went to the village, the Okayele of my community, Okayele, historically, what Okayele means is to serve the elders. That is the natural function of an Okayele, is to serve the elders, is to serve the community. But because the modern Okayele now gave them a role that is not traditionally enabled, you now see chaos chaos, fighting, killing, in all of these communities. Because ileledo ayiwere no ye eminaya emina have oheke na u ayiwe eko bogi aye ya we na giwu. One of the principal functions of laws and regulation is for the restoration of order. When you don't follow some certain laws and rules and regulations, they are bound to be chaos. I think this is now the problem, cascades of problem in the community. Edobe ojon we ga so na gbe aiboyo edo tie. So in other words, if you are an ojon way of the community, you are not supposed to. Everybody knows. If you are an ojon way and aro paru evaru ehana agbodayo, it means that truly ugele ojon way, because aiboyo, everybody knows. When I are your John level, and not John Wega so everybody knows it. Adwiko Gwejon, I don't want no John Wena Wuna, the next of John Way, I don't want no his level. But you not knowing that John Way must always because you have children, you have affluence that warrior John Way, you have gone against the natural principle of the land. And they are bound to be chaos. And you will not be asking that what you intentionally caused. You are not the one saying that only you because of the veracity, because of your greed. So we have to talk about these issues continuously. That is how it's supposed to be. Because the tradition do not recognize them. I heard of one Enogi, I don't want to mention his name, but he's getting me very angry. He's getting me riled up. That Enogi, he's a young Enogi. He's showing the 6 or the 7 Omonoba when a recently, no I say 7 or 8 months. One of them is busy going from community to the other community to tell youths that youths all hacking all terminal cerebral. All hacking all terminal. So that Enogena is about to cause anarchy, serious anarchy in different communities under his dukedom. Oripo baha money is suni oge because oboara because when these people are begging today, they are not allowed on a guy passing anywhere no give. Wow, where omagmo yahi. Here negwa passing where omagmo yahi. But the moment they enter there, I usually don't understand what will happen to their brain. They'll not begin to think I talk and that is the guts, that is the arrogancy that Izoduwa challenges all the time. That is the arrogancy that I cannot tolerate. Because when you are given a position, when you are enabled by the Oba of Benin, you're given a position to serve, to be a good ambassador of what the palace represents. Not to be an ambassador of your pocket by creating chaoses in various communities or in the name of Melgie Nogi and going against the natural orders of things. Ejon Ogwoba Dolewi Egele are supposed to be subservient to the elders. I'm not saying that some of the elders are also something else. There's also something else. But the baseline of most of the crisis emanates from the youth. And now there's an Enoge, not my book, that has not spent 1 year. Is already trying to cause chaos. And Enoge is trying to influence an Odonwe, and Enoge who is telling an Odonwe that never choose Okagile, not choose Okagile, never choose Ononas Okagile, not choose Ononas Okagile. Is going against the natural order, because the natural order of Benin is very clear on how Okagiles are being appointed. The Enoge does not have any right to choose an Okagile. He doesn't have, I'm saying it, let me say it again. And Enoge does not have any right to choose or even influence the process of choosing an Okagile. That right is not given to an Enoge. The law gives that right to an Ojonwe. It's only Ojonwe that has the right, the prerogative to choose a man or no winner. Only leledo. But when you dissipate that law, what becomes of it? Anarchy. What becomes of it? Chaos. Then when people like us now speak against your devilish characteristics, you now begin to look and say that we try to avert. If everyone I'm trying to also tell him now, the might be any audio movement of facing. I will swear on a suspension who Izoduwa do this and not suspended. But when he's going to communities now and trying to avail on the audio way or to avail on the youth to be in charge, so that now they get. So that means he had already no give for his own pocket. Or ya money wo. Or ya be hotel. Because these are things we see them naturally do. We are tired of a nigga who are earning, building hotels. There should be more creative. There should be more creative. They should engage in empowerment schemes. They should bring what is stopping an Enoge of having a business summit for his dukedom. An Enoge now, from September 1st to September 4th, 2024. We are doing a business summit. So that people within my dukedom can get jobs, some can get scholarship, some can be employed. They don't think towards that region. None of them. I'm not saying it should be all of them, because a lot of them are at the rural houses. I mean, rural area, our via, or my kind any me good ye. But some make so much money, most especially in the rural from sales of lands. How are they be able to use the sales of land? I'm not saying empowering young boys to carry guns. Only a guan kind or buy vehicles for boys. If you don't have a job that gives you money, a vehicle is a liability. I didn't do business. I didn't do anything that has to do with business. But that's a common sense now. Something that takes money from you and doesn't give you money back is a liability. So when with this Enige start investing, when with this Ojon ways or the Okagile start investing in the lives of their people, because that is what is required for leadership. Leadership It's about not taking. It's about giving. What are you giving out? Do you want to become an Okayele because where say ikuna kobenya wabe no wamagbena be spray 1 million, or where say padi one zoo? Is that why you want to become an Okayele? I think these are foundational issues. I think Benin has to grow to the extent that Omai came with position communally, or where I set a panel. First, to educate them of what is expected. You know, most of these people really don't know the function of Okayele. I can guarantee you, if you call 100 Okayele in Benin Kingdom today, 99 of them, they are in Okayele. That is Abe Okayele in Uedona, not the exterior. Those ones, because here in Okayele, because Mena Okayele already we may have 20 years in DMSF. I'll be 10. Near Fian by about 10 to 15. Yeah, DMN. You're serving man, you're very new. You're what serving me, I mean, I Okayele and I Okayele and me, I will buy her red do. Up share at it did why I twin redo. No, I don't Okayele, Okayele, Ogero. But the ones in Benins have been so because of money have not changed. That is what I talked about in Leledo. When you change the natural order of things, they are bound to be chaos. Okay, that is meant to serve the people are not serving them. That is against the natural order. And they are bound to be chaos, and this is why there are chaoses all around the places. These things have to be addressed. These things has to be addressed. So, these communal issues now the crisis that is bedeviling Benin Kingdom at the level of communal or community level or whatever is getting increased by the day and by the day. Some people will say, what is the palace now doing? The palace does as much as the palace can do. But I have to say this, in every society governed with laws, it is the inability of the citizens themselves not to abide with those laws that usually lead to chaos and disorder. There are already established laws. If every Edo man decides to follow those laws, there will not be any problem. As an Okayele or as an Egele or Sege no ayar your John and leave Egele job. As an Ejon or John we maso wegbe bagbe. How can a person no mind in at or no mind at a bo? Some people now, I heard from a very reliable source how they are not trying to use Mago to be on in various communities. In short, we are not having on. If people are not asking me now that no to the impurities in their hands. Some are not destined to do that. Some are too clean to do that. How can God's a deity for justice and one corrupt person or you do appropriate the wearing a body fian? A body member fiania. Ebony member fiania. So now Most especially anybody now, our kakabo, in short, will have to meet our baby. But anybody now, no, you can be letter there in your hand of a bona. You understand? We have to now do proper verification. That's a matter, not because some of them are not lying. They are real hand. Because here a development in Hagi Sevonio, development I Sevoni as one you talk. Most especially I will not a no game baoge. So a lot of people are now using backdoor, some very corrupt elements. And are now finding ways to use backdoor to not install on her or to not make the palace sort of agree. Because the palace expects people who, when I will give her, to be able to guide the palace on some of these issues. I will now on her caro. Here I will John show. Here I will code the never. Here I will and on her caro. So how do these people not think that on an own nebo maze or ya propitiate e no my wow and a bonny afia. So all of these issues, multifaceted problems, we must find ways to curtail them. It is too much that some people will say, well, so I had a brother that came from United Kingdom. He came to see me. When he came to see me, he told me of a man who is not an Ojon, who is not an Enoge, but he built his house as a palace. Being as a chair, probably one of the smallest community in the entire Benin Kingdom. Here I must say 4th Street, but it's a community that is independent of its own. Yes, around side of Ute. That there is a man there till now. I just remember that Osama or Uzama or this side of Ute, the upper mission extension area that a man a bowa a ojon we enogi I think he sent me a lot of those pictures and all of that. That is more of like your terminal survey. All these people, if you do, our Vianisa publicly we ring group. ITV what do what video here. ITV do video and ITV what video here. Our Biansa. Because they are constituting nuisance in the community. They are going against the natural law of the land, and they are bound to be chaos. You see them everywhere, while your community ITV. When you look at ITV, there's no day ITV will not cover one particular news of one community is protesting that a community now have a boundary issue like you know, I am still looking for a day where we see one community go tell donor where they'll be discussing the progress of the community, how the festival no the only thing you hardly see. If you see 1,000 news on community level, 999 that protest against this, protest against that, protest to the palace, protest against this, protest against this, killing of this. No, it has to stop now. It has to stop now. I give me one or 10 minutes. You open your eye. You know, I've said this when I went to Igban village. I told them that Emataya Bwedo, you know that this thing is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. Call it wrong. But because someone donate 500,000, then you keep your mouth shut because of 500,000 naira, and thereby give that community into chaos, because someone who you have denied of his rights, his children will someday come out and fight for their rights, and that will lead to chaos. The chaos that would have been avoided earlier if you had given it to their father. So, when you say the do, temata. Anything, I tell people that any situation that will sort of hamper me from speaking the truth, imo bowo uma ni hana meba la jawa hwe temata imeba de ba egbu mani. Because you have bright Trinity, because you might want you to what the issue? You want you to a while a day. Do you think that these Oredos and this Ikobaha 15-20 years ago were not peaceful? They were. Do you think they were naturally fighting? Some of these communities are brother communities. I have seen a Benin young man told me that when it comes to a motor, or he told me December last year, what time I tell you on land matter, if my papa pull head, I'll kill her. We do not turn money. That will do talk. It happened on my very before. What time I sure. So these are issues we must talk about. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what to be done, because most often now, you people have witnessed the first-hand issues that these people, how devilish that some of them can be. How devilish that some of them can be. That even your own brother, while not do talk or if you were talk, and even the elders in your own community who knew the truth, and they buy it because for the how do you think Benin Kingdom will move forward with that kind of mentality if we don't start to speak against it? If we don't start to do public protests against this? If we don't start to call them out? If we don't start to do what is right? This is not a Edo that we were very proud of. The Benin society was never construed in mischievousness, was never construed in barbarity of characters, was never construed as a land where those Enoge were spending their energy to fight me instead of them to fight the chaos that is ravaging their communities on daily. With all the you hardly will see any of the communities that don't have crisis. Most especially Oredo Bobahalego. Then I do me that I'm very peaceful man. The community organization, they are unable to solve issues. In short, some nigga, I can as an enogi or carry living with your body I don't understand. Then you not expect that community to be peaceful? You don't expect that communities to be peaceful? Oh, anyway, yeah, I tell them about if God punish these people, make I mistakenly at time make I mistakenly become one day governor of Edo State. Sanity will be restored in 3 months. 3 months. If you go against the natural law of this land, unaya be 4 years or 5 years. We have Abuja. Obo pe. Naya muya eno. Obo pe. If some of them were spending 10 years, if some of them that committed great crimes were being sentenced to life imprisonment, some of them laws were being created by the state government, not laws, real hard penalty of incarceration, a death sentence, and all of this nonsense would have since stopped. As a matter of fact, these people are not superpowers. They are just Benin people like us, who we became so afraid of, and they now saw themselves as mini gods. So anyway, I have said my own, but let's in that time let's understand that some of these issues, if they are not clear, if some of these issues are not quickly resolved, it will continue to snowball into crisis and crisis and crisis. You will not see some communities where do no kaile or ya view obo enyari wauna. That is funny. On your the worst now when you wear do or ya view obo of your region or do vinya legagbe and do puli wear do no rewo nipa. Then we have ya doctor. Some of you should have experienced what I'm telling you. We have ya doctor we ni vi obo we region. Or high ya ma water or you terminal is several no rotedo because I will carry the ni mine be don't make me a motor do I vivier one do ya oppressive do the win only know you are sonona only know you are sonona only know you are sonona. If you reach some communities in Ibobaha, you know, they talk that they say, I know some communities not too far from it that Obiobo or Kagele. There's a community now that might not say some certain things. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Oviedo, not take Oviedo. Or have you Obo, you read of the other tribes, or Kunya Legagbe, or Oviedo Kwavevo. If you have Obo. Oh yeah, man. There are some certain things that is unheard of. When you hear them, you will just become who the weak. So what we don't have here. So what we don't have here. We do. The one carry machineries and could live away. It is a terrible. If I tell you, if I open my inbox on Facebook to you and see messages that I receive daily and weekly on crisis, maybe if one community matter, so I want to apologize to anybody that sent me all of those messages I didn't reply. I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to do. I have been a victim of them too. It was just by God's mercies and God's mercies. I am your boy. That's a agenda. I am your boy. I am your boy. We have to do something. We cannot allow Benin to continue to degenerate in this pace and speed, whereby there is no longer laws and order. Everybody can do anything that pleases them as at will, because even some, and I later found out that some very high placed governmental persons, I'm not saying Obaseki now, people should know, all community matter, and Obaseki more time, but there are some very people that are close to, they were part of previous government, they are also part of this, the time I will go ahead, nothing they happen, no worry, will if the matter reach palace, we will know how we will do it. Can we continue to be like this? Can we continue to live in fear that me, I've always been a man who stands for truth. The only problem is when I'm speaking truth that favors you, you'll be very happy. There are some people now, when I need get shown, I am a video now, they'll be very happy. But that's what I will be fuck up. You will like them. You won't see in again. But one thing in the matter. Nobody influences me to say what I say. These things that I say are out there, they are factual. Everybody knows, everybody that are no red doma knows that these things are happening. All these Okairi now see themselves as mini gods, which they are not. Primary 5 result. I'm a squire and one. But a women were say, oh, you know what terminal we saw several. When you had people who had incredible wisdom on how to bring development are being sidelined, are being pursued out, then how do you think these communities can develop? They can't. Let's tell ourselves the real truth. Let's tell ourselves the real truth. That people who has a brain to provide solutions to problems of the community are being sidelined because they don't have guns. And you expect Benin Kingdom to be developed when people that are not give vocabulary, no now. Then some of these enige will be using some of these elders. Let me not classify them as enige. Some of these elders in the community will not be using these boys to also foment trouble. Issues like this should stop. I don't know how. If I have the power, I will call all the Okaile, most especially in the Waruwe Benin City one. If we go to me allow. Me am with me now. There are ways you talk. There are ways you address issues. There are ways we can rub our minds and find peaceful solutions to some of the things that they think it's only violence that can cure it. Violence bets more violence. Violence does not give results. Violence does not bring results. Violence breeds more violence. We have to find there are always better ways to do things than violence. And that is what I am appealing for. Now, we should not be looking at our pockets only. Then these are the same persons that will criticize Buhari and the likes. when the little position you've been given it, how were you able to manage it? How were you able to the people that you were supposed to lead, how were they able to benefit from it? So, it is high time we have to all publicly come out and speak against this treachery at the community level, from the elders to the youth. So that's what I'm saying. Wow. So I think near the Talogbe, because I think I have to go and do some bowling. And Sunday where jobs continue. I need to go and bowl. Yeah, let me go and chill out this evening. So for those, a lot of you have reached out to me for my wedding preparation. Thank you all. Although it wasn't the date I talked about, I heard they are doing election by September 2nd, so I have to take it 1 week back. Because of their local government election, I cannot take it 1 week forward. So if I take it 1 week forward, they might just postpone it to that week. So we took it 1 week back. So it is now August 23 and August 26. August 23 is in Ile-Ife, the trad, while August 26 is the reception here in Benin. So so for those of you who are still going to come, about 4 persons have called me already, that to be very exact with the dates, out of the 4, about 3 had the ticket in. And so for those who are still coming to come and celebrate with me, I'll be very happy to see you guys in Benin, so I can do some little reunion of everybody, or whatever is being called. But I want to thank you all for all the support thus far. So you guys are incredibly been very good, and I can't but thank all of you enough. And is there any other thing we need to talk about that I haven't talked about? Okay, I think this is the best time to round up this our conversation. During the week, we'll still come back again and talk about it. And there was some history that I was supposed to talk about today, but something came up yesterday that made me talk about this topic. So next program, I'm not going to talk about community issues. I'm going to talk about strictly history. It's going to be strictly history. A lot of persons said that they have been missing my history class. But next program is going to be history. I'm just going to talk about purely old, ancient Benin history. That is going to be very exciting to all of you. So, why I was it? I may need to marry many women. Oh no. As a man that I am, one wife is good for me. I'm only marrying one, yeah. But I'm only marrying one woman, one man, one wife, one man, one man, one wife. That's my own philosophy. But maybe for now, I will never where I might change. But for now, one man, one wife. I'm okay with one woman. So I know. What we say, Obama talk by you. He said.